Man, we had to hit him with the new intro. That's kind of dope. That's why I like StreamYard. StreamYard allows you to do a lot of really cool things. Um, but yeah, you guys, it's been a while since we've done a podcast, but you guys are definitely in for a treat. We have Mr. Dana Jones. He's a real estate investor. He owns his own mortgage company. He's actually local in Los Angeles, which is really cool. And he's looking to raise some money to do his own private deals. So welcome to the show, man.
Man, that's what's up. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Can you tell me a little bit more about who you are and where you're from?
Okay, well, my name is Dana Jones. I'm from Baltimore, Maryland, but like you just said, I reside in Los Angeles, California. I moved out here in my real estate endeavors, I would say like a good 11 years ago. So I'm currently a real estate investor. I own my own mortgage company here in Sherman Oaks. And, I just, for my real estate deals that I do in California and Baltimore, Maryland, I'm in the process of raising like a private capital to actually fund the deals and give my investors a double digit return back by real estate.
Yeah. So, what was life like growing up for you?
Phew, oh man, I tell you, life like growing up, coming from Baltimore was kind of like, it was a little tough. So, going in Baltimore, you had to kind of be like strong. So, when they say like survival to fit, only the strong survive, I always kind of like got into like a lot of fights and all that crazy stuff. But I was like a little brainiac, so I always wanted to stay in school and just be better than my environment.
Did you like California better than Baltimore?
Man, California is almost like it's like a 360-degree difference, pretty much. So it's like, yeah, it's totally different. So a lot of people say California is just, I love it because of the weather, but it's not just the weather, it's the opportunities, it's just the environment, it's the great energy that the people provide here.
Yeah. When did you first get into real estate?
I got into real estate, I would say like 17 years ago.
And what did that look like? What was your first deals? Did you start as a broker, or did you just hop right into investing?
No, no, I hopped right into it as investing. So when I was living back in Baltimore, I was selling cars. So I had like two car dealerships. So I actually would just kind of like take the money that I would make from cars and I would just actually just put them into houses and buy houses in the city for cash. Because prior to that, I had like, I think I had like 150,000 in the bank. And my dad would always tell me about, about the money market and all that type of stuff. And I realized that 150 grand in a year, I probably made like $100 off of it. So I'm like, yo, hold up. I made $100 and y'all charging me all these fees. So I really didn't make 100. I probably lost $300. So I just said, I just bet on myself, buy real estate in the inner city. And I can just, I have insurance on it and I can just pretty much just watch it grow from there.
So as you're buying these properties, are they rental properties? Are they flips? Or are you just parking money in the property?
No, it was a little bit of both. So it just depends on the area and things of that nature. So some of them were rentals, and then some of them were flips. And the rentals is actually what allowed me to catapult and move over here to Los Angeles.
How so?
Well, because my portfolio. So with the rentals, you figure just say for average that, your well, these were free and clear. So they were like free and clear. So just say that the average, I was renting rooms. So one of the houses I was getting like $2,000 a month, and then the other house I was getting like 1,500. So I had like 10 properties. So I utilized that money to allow me to come to California because it was like cash flow. And being as
Yeah.
though I moved 3,000 miles away into a place where I didn't know anybody, I had to have some sort of like security.
Yeah. So how much were these homes that you were buying in Baltimore?
It was anywhere from like 50 to like 75,000.
Yeah. And
Hmm.
a lot of people, they would kind of be hesitant to invest in that market because you see the stories, you watch The Wire, and you just think it's all drugs and crime. But you still took that leap anyway. How'd you have the confidence to do that?
Yeah, Baltimore is pretty much it's like a block by block like city. So typically, when you're investing in real estate, you can like look at zip codes and see the comps, and then kind of like invest there. But being as though I'm from there, I just knew the certain areas and the certain blocks. So I was like confident because you figure, like right now, we talk about now a property in Baltimore might be 250,000. You go 30 minutes up the train to go to Washington D.C., then it's going to be like 600,000. You go to New York, which is 2.5 hours away, it's going to be like 1.2 million. So it's a no brainer that Baltimore has to come up.
Yeah. A lot of people are leaving DC, living in Baltimore, just commuting in.
Oh
That
yeah,
makes
yeah.
a lot of sense.
Oh, go say that one more time.
So that makes a lot of sense. It's the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. And so they have to clean it up. Have they been cleaning up the area? I know that I've seen like Charm City buyers talking about a lot of different things, money coming in and investors coming in and whole developments being kind of taken care of.
Oh yeah, yeah, everything. Yeah, we have Under Armour there. So Under Armour has bought, we had this area called Harbor East. It just allow Harbor East to just grow pretty much. And yeah, it's just great because like I said, you g- you get the guaranteed money from the government in Washington, DC. So instead of having an expensive place right there, you just commute to Baltimore and then yeah. These been building up like crazy.
What did you learn from that experience of buying these deals, cash flowing these deals, and then moving across the country?
Um, I learned so the difference in my real estate in Baltimore, my difference in the real estate I have in California is I learned that Baltimore is a cash flow place. So, you get your cash flow, just constantly. And the real estate property I have here in California, you just get your money in equity. So the property in California is like a bank to me. So you can actually, once the equity builds up, then you can just do like a cash out refinance and
Okay.
then just repeat that cycle pretty much. So it's like
So
rinse and repeat.
you've had success in investing in California. What markets are you investing in out here?
In LA, in the inner city LA pretty much.
Like LA where?
I would say like over there in the Hawthorne area.
Hawthorne?
Yeah, 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 yeah. So Hawthorne and also like Woodland Hills. So that, there are two different areas, but
Absolutely.
Woodland Hills is growing too because look at the Rams. They're over there with their training camp.
I used
So
to
yeah,
work in Woodland Hills, and I was surprised at how affluent it is out there because it's so close to the valley. It's so close to Calabasas, all the really, really nice stuff. And I would just see Lambos and everything just driving down the street. And I was like, this is crazy. And so, like, to say that you're investing in Woodland Hills, but also in Hawthorne, that's like two different markets.
yeah. Freaking LA is like a gold mine kind of sort of. That's why you figure if you're on a 405, you're on a 101, you're on a 110, is always traffic like everywhere. So no matter where you invest in here, it has no choice but to go up because there's too many people for the city.
Right. Too many people for the city. So much so that if you can't live there, you commute there because that's where all the jobs are. That's where all the entertainment is. That's where all the restaurants are. Everything's in LA. How did you get into investing in LA? Because it's not cheap.
I pretty much I use the same mindset as investing in Baltimore. So once I moved over here, we opened up the mortgage company, and then I always been an investor at heart. So I'm like, okay, I'm investing where I don't live at anymore, so I have to invest in my own backyard. So sometimes you just got to take that leap of faith. So it's so expensive, but the more you put into anything, is the more that you can lose or the more you can make. So
Right.
once you bet on yourself, you always believe in yourself through manifestation. Then everything's going to happen the way that you only see it.
So, what did your first deals look like in Los Angeles? Because I want to investing. I invest out of state in Michigan, but I'm like, man, it'll be cool to invest close to home. I could drive by the property. I can actually meet the tenants face to face. Whereas in Michigan, a lot of times I don't meet the tenants at all. I just have them interface with somebody else. So it's like, how did you get what did that first deal look like for you? Purchase
Uh,
price and stuff.
Yeah, it was an off-market property that I got. I say like 3 years ago. I paid like 500,000 for it, and since then, it's went up in value like 775,000. And I can never get that return in the value going up over in Baltimore. So, like I said,
Right.
it's a
True.
different strategy.
True. So you bought it for 5. What kind of financing did you use?
Oh, I use it what we call like a DSCR program. So with the DSCR program, is like as long as your rents are going to be more than the mortgage, then you're a-okay from there pretty much. And we
What is
actually do a lot of the DSCR programs here at my company, E-Planet Mortgage.
what does DSCR stand for?
It's called debt service. So long as it debt services. So like I
Mhm.
say, as long as the rent, as long as the rent is going to be more than a mortgage, then we can go ahead and get you done off of that pretty much. And
Debt
debt
service
service is out.
coverage ratio.
Yep. Hmm.
So the property that you bought for 500, was that a single family or a multifamily?
Oh no, it was a single family.
With a single family, you can still finance it based off of the rents.
Yeah. Hmm.
All right. So do you have to have a tenant in place before you get the financing, or how does that work?
Well, if you don't have the tenant in place, then they do what we call like on appraisals called a 1007 appraisal. So they just do like the rent rolls in that area.
Yeah. And so when you buy these properties, are they already fixed up or do you have to do some rehab to them?
This one was like it needed like minor work to it. So it was kind of like putting what they call like lipstick on a pig kind of sort of,
Yeah.
but it just needed like minor work.
How were you able to get that deal for that number?
Off
Were you
market.
do you market for deals? Do you mail? What do you kind of do to find deals?
Well, I have a VA that's like calling for me pretty much. So the VA they call and they just kind of like find deals for me pretty much. So here in California and also in Baltimore.
So that $500,000, what was it worth as is when you paid 500 for it?
The as is value on that one was, I would say, probably like 590, like 590,000.
Randy? Did that play a part in getting the financing approved?
Yeah, yeah, it played a big part because you figure it was already like kind of like $90,000 worth of equity right there.
That is really cool. So you in Los Angeles, where people want to live there, they want to pay the rent. How much are you renting that property for, and how much is the note?
That property right there is going for like 4,000, and the note is like 3,300.
Okay, and what does the lender want to approve that?
Oh, just like I said, they just want the lease. So pretty much you either get you see the lease for the 4,000, you just do the 1007 on appraisal to see that that is the rent levels in that area right there, pretty much.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's kind of like an easy peasy loan. Like I say, we do a lot of them here at E-Planet Mortgage.
that's cool. If people wanted to work with you, what do they need to do? Do they need to get pre-qualified? Do they need to bring you a deal? What does that look like?
Yeah, so if they want to actually work with me, you mean from the mortgage perspective?
Yes.
Yeah, actually they can go to my website. So it's danatjones.com, or either go to eplanetmortgage.com. You go there, you'll see my information, and then I can also, like once you fill out the landing page, I can send you a link to the mortgage application. And
Yeah.
once we actually do get you pre-approved, and we'll close on that loan in like 15 days.
So how much of the loan? Because a lot of people they look at LA properties and they're like, man, I can't afford that. I can't afford the down payment. I can't afford all this stuff. Um, how do they get into that space? Is it just like finding something that makes sense and then bringing it to you? Because I mean, people think if it's non-owner occupied, they have to pay 10% down, 20% down. Is that still the case with the DSCR loan, or is it a little bit different?
Yeah, I mean, if it's not owner occupied, then you put like 15% down.
15% down.
Yeah, yeah. So from an investing standpoint, and then if you want to like kind of like have like owner occupied, then you can do what we call like a DPA down payment assistance program. And with
Huh.
that right there, but that's for homeowners. That's not for like investors, pretty much.
But if it's multifamily, you could still do that.
Yeah, yeah, you can still do that. Yeah, yeah, through FHA.
All right. So where did your deals go from there? In Los Angeles, you said you bought that first one, 500,000. What was next?
Then I grabbed another one for like 1.2. And then, I mean, pretty much like I say over here, like your homes are like the bank. So it's like you just let the value go up in the property. And then once I refi, I just buy like a whole bunch more in Baltimore. Like how you invest in Detroit, I invest in Baltimore as well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Have you been seeing the market kind of shift with interest rates going up? As is Los Angeles noticing anything like that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So with the interest rates going up, it's like the market has been kind of like slowing down, or it's like been, yeah, it's kind of been like leveling out. So like the government, I don't know, they're like, hey, okay, you guys are not going to stop buying the homes. We're going to keep increasing the rates just like drastically. So yeah, everything has kind of leveled out a lot. But I'm in like a lot of investment programs. So I'm still doing these freaking DSCR loans because people have hard money loans to buy the properties, but a hard money loan is only for 12 months. So
Right.
after the 12 months is like either you have to pay the balloon payment off, or you have to
Or-
refinance. So
yeah.
I still been doing like a lot of those DSCR loans.
So you can refinance somebody out based off of the rents.
Yeah.
That is all right. So I have a house, finishing it up, and it's all cash. And I'm either thinking about selling it, but I'm kind of concerned that the market might be turning and I might not be able to get what I want for that property. Let's hypothetically say the house should be selling for $300,000. I'm all in it for like 170.
hmm
But the market might turn and it might only be worth 250. What would you tell me to do in that situation?
I mean, in that situation, you'll be able to cash out like 75%. So, you'll be able to cash out like 75%, keep the property because in life, what goes down has to always come up. So
Right?
just keep that. So even if the market tanks and goes down, you take your equity out and just buy another property because, people are going to be scared. They're going to be running like, oh man, I'm scared of this real estate. But just go ahead and just, go hard and just buy something else.
That makes so much sense. So it almost doesn't make sense to sell a flip.
No, 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 no. It doesn't make sense to sell a flip because you
That
figure
keeps you the
real
renter.
estate. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because you figure real estate is everything. I went to the Chargers game last week, Monday Night Football, and it's like I was like, man, I'm actually standing in SoFi Stadium, which is real estate. So it's
Yeah,
like they didn't sell that. They keep that. They continue to get the money from there. So we start off with the single families, then you go to the multi families, and who knows? One day you might have a little mini SoFi Stadium or something. So nah,
right.
don't sell your real estate off. Keep it.
Don't sell your real estate is the gym. Is the
Yeah,
gym. How
yeah,
often
your
do
real
you go to
estate.
games in SoFi?
I say that again.
How often do you go to games at SoFi?
I go to like a couple games, so it depends on if I'm in town. Like, I've been doing like a lot of traveling as far as like dealing with the real estate investing. So I went to that Monday night game. I probably, I go to like 2, 3 more games this year or this season.
Are you a Charger fan or a Ram fan or either or a Raven fan?
Yo, I would say I'm a Rams and a Ravens fan. So look, it was crazy because last year when the Rams played the Ravens, my nephew was over the house. We was watching the game. I was going for the Rams. They were like, because when you live in Baltimore, the whole city freaking shuts down when the Ravens play.
Yeah. You like
Mhm.
Lamar Jackson?
Yeah. I mean, I feel as though with Lamar, I feel as though, everybody out here getting the money. I feel as though he probably should have held off a little bit and he shouldn't have kind of like played. But he was like, whether or not you guys give me the contract, I'm gonna still play. So it's like sometimes you got to kind of like bet on yourself, go hard. And it's like, they actually formulated the entire team around Lamar Jackson. So what they gonna do? Revamp the team again once he leaves? I mean, come on.
Yeah. It's interesting because not playing tends to kind of not work out that well for guys. We've seen it happen to Le'Veon Bell. We've seen it happen to. I'm a Charger fan, and it happened to I forget the dude, Melvin Gordon. Like sitting out, you kind of create bad blood, and it also gives you a bad reputation across the league. People don't want to deal with that. So, where do you see your business going now?
Well, right now I see my business going into like multifamily. So, like I said, I've been raising like a lot of capital and things of that nature because it's almost like once you kind of like been in something for a while and you kind of like feel as though you kind of like mastered it, you kind of like go to the next level. So
Yeah.
I've been like actually like getting investors. People have been actually investing in my deals. I'm gonna get them like a 12% return on their investment. So it's better than your money sitting in the bank not making no money, and it's better than having it in the stock market because the stock market is so freaking volatile. At least with real estate, is something that you can just touch it. It's a tangible asset.
So when you say multifamily, how large are we talking?
I would say like anywhere from like 50 to 100 units.
600 units. Local?
Yeah. No, I'm just gonna be over there in Baltimore. So like I say, that's like my place because over there with the 100 units or anywhere from the 50 to 100 units is going to help out with a program. Like like they kind of follow me on Instagram and Facebook, but I just bought like a little doctor's office. So I'm over there in the process of doing a drug rehabilitation program. So
Mhm.
my clients can actually live into the multi-families and still come to the program that we're opening over there.
Gotcha. Um, how are you growing? Like personally, how do you grow? Because you're doing a lot of business, but are you in any masterminds? Are you in any are you reading any books? What are you doing to advance yourself?
Oh yeah. So like I said, I just been on a go. So I'm in a mastermind. It's called like the Avengers. So one of them is called the Avengers. The other one is called RPM, which is raising private money. And the other one, then we had one is called like Sub Two. So Sub Two teaches you how to get the real estate property by Subject Two. Avengers, it's like is a mastermind of like non-powerful people. And they kind of like give you like a mentor and they give you a hands on it, actually fast forward you. So that's what kind of allowed me to want to get into this multi-unit space.
Yeah. Are those pretty expensive to join?
Yeah. Yeah, but it's like, yeah, they are pretty expensive to join, but it's almost like if you bet on yourself and if you pay like a lot of money to be a part of a mastermind, you have no choice but to see it through. You're not going to just pay all the money and just like, just sit there on your hands and say, okay, I did it. Now what's next? It's like, man, you have to push yourself because in life you only can go as far as you see yourself going.
What is one thing that caused you to struggle throughout this whole process of getting to where you are now?
I would say when I try to do everything on my own, when I try to like, just do this by myself and do that and do this and do that. And I learned pretty fast that you need a team. So without a team, it's kind of hard for you to grow and scale your business. So you can only be as strong as your team. So in anything you do, you have to team up with some like-minded individuals who actually had the same common goal pretty much.
Yeah. What is one thing about Los Angeles real estate that you didn't expect?
I guess the moratorium. So the
Yeah.
moratorium is like, when the tenants didn't have to pay rent, for like what was like a good 2 years. And it's like, yeah, to me, it's kind of like it's not fair. So you as a landlord, you still had to kind of, pay the mortgage, or some landlords, might have it
Or
free and
or
clear.
maintain
But
the property
I'm say that again.
or maintain the property.
Yeah. Yeah. So how you gonna maintain a property for a never grown adult just sitting there for 2 years not paying nothing? So I don't
Yeah.
see
That was
what's right
hard.
about that. Yeah, that's kind of hard for real.
Yeah. What is one thing about real estate investing that like an opinion that you have that almost nobody agrees with you about?
That nobody agree with me about. I guess I can just say, I mean, I look at real estate as being my stock market. So I mean, I don't. I mean, I have like a couple dollars in the stock market, but I mean, I just like to invest in real estate because, like I say, that is my stock right there. And you
Yeah.
think about it, when the market was super duper up, you had all the REITs that was really investing in real estate. So they was like kind of like laying off the stocks and going super heavy and doubling down on real estate.
Yeah. With the market turning, are you still in acquisition mode, or are you kind of waiting for things to pan out?
No, I'm still like acquisition mode because it's almost like in real estate is all about numbers. So long as you know what the deal is. So, like you say, if you're looking at a property and the ARV is like 300,000, and then you can get it like typically you can get it for like, I'm just throwing out numbers, you can get it for like 250, but now you just kind of like in your mind you say, okay, the ARV is not 300 no more, the ARV is really like 250, so I can pick this same property up for like 200 or 190,000. It's still a good deal whether it goes down, whether it continues to go down, it's still going to be like a good deal because you gave yourself a little buffer right there.
Yeah. What would you say was your most successful deal?
um I would say the investing in a property out here. So the one I got out here for like 1.2, and then it, like I said, in what, like 18 months, it went up like 650 in equity. So yeah, I would say that is the most successful deal right there.
So with the equity, are you pulling that to invest into other projects, or are you just kind of letting it sit there? What do you do when you get into a situation where you have so much equity, but you still want to like not over leverage yourself so much so that you kind of like make it a negative return? Because if you have a property that's gone up in value, but I don't know what the rents might be, and you pull out so much, it makes your payment higher. Now you might be just barely cash flowing, or what does that look like?
Now, I mean, well, say for instance you pull out like 200,000 and it makes your and it makes your payment go up like $1,500. So even if it makes your payment go up $1,500, if you're going to take that 200,000 out and you're going to make 4,000, then you made 2,500. So you can't really look at what your payment is going up. You got to look at what you're going to do with the money once you take it out.
Don't look at what it costs you. Look at what you can make.
Basically, yeah.
Um, I feel like you have an advantage because you work in the mortgage industry. How much so does your experience of owning a mortgage company allow you to win in the real estate investing game?
I mean, yeah, it does give me like a little insight, but I believe it's all about kind of like betting on yourself. So, I mean, the mortgage and the real estate, they're kind of like two different things because, I do the mortgage, for like conventional loans, so like conventional VA, FHA, and things of that nature. So, that's like one thing over there. And as far as like investing in real estate, I just believe I just kind of like, I mean, just believe in myself and just always look at the numbers. So if the numbers work, then it makes sense.
I've heard you mention betting on yourself a lot. Um, what does that mean, and why is it important?
Because I mean, it means a whole lot because in life, I believe that you are the director of your own movie. So you're only going to go as far as you see yourself going. So I mean, I've been on my own since I've been like 15 years old. I only had like one job in my life. So I just always believed that, what I mean? I mean, I wasn't put here to just, work at a Wendy's or McDonald's or something like that. I just want the best out of my life while I'm here. Cause I have kids. So in order for me to show my kids not to go out there and like work a 9 to 5 and then just only get paid enough to go to happy hour and do this and do that. They have to actually believe in themselves. And once they believe in themselves through the power of manifestation, they only can go as far as they want to go. So if you look at life as $1,000 being a lot of money, it's going to take you a long time to get $1,000. You look at it where as though $100,000 is a lot of money. It might take you a freaking lifetime to get $100,000. So you got to actually set the bar super duper high. And if you fall kind of low, then you're still going to be good.
Yeah. Why do you think some people struggle with believing in themselves and betting on themselves?
Man, I mean, sometimes it can just kind of be like the environment that you're in. It can be like, I mean, like I said, you could have seen your mom and dad just work like 2 and 3 jobs and things of that nature. So you're like, I can just be used to it. So you're like, okay, well, let me go work at Walmart because at least I have like good health benefits. I can have dental and I'm okay. I at least know what my paycheck is going to be. And betting on yourself has to be hard because you got to be the one to actually motivate yourself through the Lord. So it's like, you have to really believe and say, man, if I go out here and I don't really make it, then I might don't make no money this week. I might don't make no money this month. But if you like kind of believe in yourself, you have no choice but to win.
Yeah, yeah. Um, what is a tool that you use every day that's essential to you being successful?
I would just say prayer. So prayer, and then every day I just like meditate. So every morning I just wake up and I just thank the Lord. I don't thank Him for the things I don't have. I just be so grateful and so humble. I thank Him for the things that I do have, and I just say thank you, Lord, for just allowing me to be where I am today. And I know this is not even the end all be all. So I'm just a God fearing man. I just believe that the Lord has us at the right place at the right time, and our steps are truly ordered.
Yeah. If somebody wanted to get to where you are right now, what would be something you tell them to do immediately?
To go out there and get a mentor. And if they want to reach out, I can actually, mentor them as well, pretty much. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I think I put my Instagram right there, Dana.T.Jones. But my website is DanaTJones.com. And, I'm always willing to be a go giver and share the knowledge because I believe the more you give is the more the Lord is going to bless you. So a
100%.
mentor is possible. So even if you don't see me as being a mentor, go get some mentor in a space or the area that you want to be in because that's going to help you out instead of you trying to figure it out on your own.
Yeah, man. We covered a lot in 25 minutes.
You've been shooting, bam, bam, bam.
It's true. I haven't really been. Sometimes I make it conversational, but you have a lot of knowledge. I just want to keep picking at it, picking at it.
Nah, it's all good, man. God is good. I'm
Especially
just so appreciative.
investing in LA is something I've really been wanting to do, and you really opened my mind with the DSCR loan because it makes a lot of sense. Have you looked at investing in like the Inglewood area?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, but the Englewood area, like I say, you just gotta have to try to like find something like off market because being as those sofas right there is like super duper saturated. So I mean, I looked, everybody, everybody, their mother looked. So it's like, you just gotta just keep putting fillers out there, and the right deal is gonna come to you. So I mean, Englewood is a gold mine because you can do Airbnb.
Yeah.
You can do like the nurse program. It's like so much you can do because the stadium's right there.
What are some hot spots to invest in Los Angeles right now?
The hot spots in LA, I would say Inglewood. I would say Culver City, and I would say Woodland Hills because Woodland Hills that kind of turning Woodland Hills into like a little like Hollywood or something like that. They're building up Topanga Mall like crazy, and then they're building up all these new high end stores. So I would say Woodland Hills is like a kind of like diamond in the rough.
Um, what about South LA? What about Compton, Crenshaw area?
Yeah, I mean that's pretty cool over there as well too, because Compton, yeah, Crenshaw, they've been kind of like doing like gentrification and moving like a lot of people out to like Palmdale, Lancaster. So I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, South LA is pretty cool as well. And then you get the house and you get like a little bit of square footage. So if you have to do a full renovation, you can do the full renovation on a low, and you can also add an ADU there as well.
Right. The ADU play. The ADU play. Man, this is just good stuff. So there's still deals in Los Angeles. You just got to find them and then figure out what it's going to look like in terms of the rent and then bring it to you and you can get them the financing for it. How important is the person's income and their credit score and their debt to income and all that stuff when you're looking at a DSCR loan?
We're pretty much like I say, the score, the minimum is like a 680 FICO. So it's like a 680 FICO. Um, the revenue really doesn't play a big part because it's all about long as the rent is going to supersede what the mortgage payment is going to be. So
Yeah,
that's what we pretty much look at.
that is so dope. It just makes so much sense. Um, Affordable housing. What's your take on that in Los Angeles? Do you think it's even possible to do?
Yeah, yeah, I believe it's possible because you figure in LA, God is not making no more land. So, everything has to kind of like get built up. Like when I went to Beijing like years ago, I noticed that everything was like built up. So I
Yeah,
believe I believe affordable housing would be a great thing for LA, and it's something that's needed because we don't want like to add to the homeless problem because out here is like a lot of homelessness issues, and it's like we have to do something so we can actually give back to the people who actually make and create LA.
that's one thing I said is if you look at like New York is built up, and LA is very expansive. And even if you look in areas like Compton, Crenshaw, and you go into their neighborhoods, it's single family homes, but there's all this airspace up there. And so if you just build up, you can create exponential housing for people and then make it more affordable. I just feel like affordable housing is kind of an opportunity, but financing is going to be the struggle because it has to make sense with the interest rates and the land value and the cost of construction and all that stuff. I think it can be done 100%.
Yeah,
I don't want to belabor the point. I think we've covered a whole bunch of information. I have a few closing questions I want to ask you, and then also give you an opportunity for people who want to work with you to find you. The first question I always ask is, what is your favorite business or investing book?
You say my I would say Rich Dad Poor Dad because that's like the kind of like the foundation that actually kind of got me into it pretty much.
What's your favorite business or investing book that's not Rich Dad Poor Dad?
Traction.
All right, all right. Why?
Yeah, because it shows you like the operating systems pretty much. So when you're running your business, it shows you how to kind of like put systems in place so it can, so your business can be a scalable business. Because when you're creating a business, you want to actually create it where as though if you wanted to, you can sell it off. So you don't say, for instance, you don't want to sell it off, but you want to just still have it where as though a 10-year-old can come in your business, run your business, and one day you can actually sell it off. And you just have that option. The more options you have in life, the better off you'll be.
Yeah, I think in that book he was talking about McDonald's and how like a teenager can run a McDonald's because the systems they have in place make it so that you don't have to be an MBA, all this advanced intellectual person to run their business. You just got to be somebody who can hop in and start plugging and playing.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. It's like the more simple and the more easy it is. I mean, the better off it'll be pretty much. Everything don't have to be super difficult.
Yeah. Who is somebody that you look up to and why?
You say somebody I look up to and why? Uh, I mean, it kind of be like super duper controversial though. Like kind of for real, I actually like in business, I kind of looked up to Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Truthfully, because I see how Donald Trump he kind of licensed his name. He went to China. He went to all these different. He went to all these different places that he didn't even know about. But he said, "Hey, I'm Donald Trump. Look at my name, and I'm going to team up with you, who's killing over there. So I'm not trying to go over here and do it on my own. I'm going to just team up with all the top people in all the top spaces and open up a business there." So I kind of like watched how Donald Trump moved a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, what does wealth mean to you?
I mean, wealth to me is like just like my podcast. My podcast is called The Legacy Builder. So wealth is all about creating a legacy and creating wealth and just doing it for the generation that comes after me. So it's like, I can sit there, I can have fun, I can make, all the money in the world, but it's not really wealth until you actually just teach your descendants who comes after you how to do it pretty much. So that's wealth to me.
100%. My last question for you is, where can they find you? Where can they follow you? And where can they support what you have going on?
Okay, so like I said, you can follow my podcast on Apple. It's called The Legacy Builder. You can follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is dana.t.jones. And then just go to my website. My website is danatjones.com. If you want to get a mortgage, you can also go on eplanetmortgage.com. That's how you can find me. Is it okay to leave my number here?
Absolutely. Do what you got to do, man.
Okay, and also you want to reach out, you can give me a call at area code 310-684-5869.
I'm definitely gonna be reaching out. I got to buy something in California. Do you provide financing for business acquisitions?
Nah, but I have a buddy who does that.
Yeah, I figured you would either know somebody or you would do it yourself. We got to connect. I'm in Ontario area. I actually have Charger season tickets, so I'm at every game at SoFi, and so we got to connect in some capacity. That'll be dope because I
Oh,
mean, I invest out of state, but I want to invest locally, and my family wants to invest locally. We want to find some stuff that we can do here, as opposed to flying out of the state all the time.
oh yeah, yeah. No, no, most definitely. Let's connect. And then I mean, even on the Detroit deals, you might have something going on there. I might want to get in. I might have something bought in. You might want to get in. Then I mean, we can just may join mega forces over here in LA. Yeah,
Absolutely, we can do
that's how
that.
it is. 'Cause like I said, it's all about building a team of like-minded individuals. And as long as there's enough meat on the bone, we all eat pretty much. And that's how you can actually go from one deal to 5 deals.
100%. Man, it was great meeting you. I learned a lot from this conversation. I know the listeners are going to learn a lot. If they tapped in live, of course, they learned. But we're going to be running this on the actual like podcast through Spotify and all that cool stuff. And that should come out relatively soon. But I definitely appreciate you for coming on the show. You guys check it out. Click on the links. We'll have all this information in the show notes so you guys can make sure you follow him on Instagram. Hit him up if you guys are looking for some financing for your deals. And if you want to participate in what he has going on, hit him up on that as well. For another episode of the Millionaire Podcast, Charles Oglesby, Time Millionaire, and we are out.
I appreciate you. Thanks.
Thanks, brother.